Hey guys, if you're new here, my name is Hannah and welcome to my channel. Please like and subscribe to be a part of the family. Now let's jump into the video. So in today's video, this is actually a suggestion from one of my old friends to do a back to basics makeup tutorial. I kind of worked out a little makeshift filming area in front of this white wall so that I can do this for you today because my room's nowhere near ready, but I'm, making a place to do it. Anyway, let's get into the video. So because I'm doing a back to basics makeup tutorial, I'm basically going to be using all drugstore products today, because then it's more of like the affordable option. Mostly if you're starting with the basics, getting drugstore products is obviously where you would start. You wouldn't start by getting like $100 foundation. So we're going to go with drugstore, back to basics. There's a few products in here I've never tried before, but we're going to go with it anyway. So basically all of these products are drugstore. We're going to do a back to basics tutorial. It's going to be just a basic everyday look. It's not going to be crazy. I'm not going to have like crazy eyeshadow and stuff like that. This is all just back to basics. The tools that I'm going to use today aren't particularly going to be the cheaper options, but I will give you some cheaper options as well, if that makes sense. Okay, let's just jump on in. So today we're going to start off with primer. I always use a primer. I know some people don't. It's not a necessity, but for me I just like to. I'm going to go into the Rimmel London Lasting Finish Primer. This is more of like a really thick consistency. But yeah, I like to use a primer. You don't actually have to use a primer. But yeah, like I said, it's just my preference to use one. So this is not a necessity either. This is just a preference for me. So going in with the NYX Pore Filler. So basically this is just going to fill in the pores and sort of smooth it over, make them a little bit more invisible, if that makes sense. But once again, this is not a necessity as such, but I particularly prefer to use one. And I just put it in the areas where my pores are most pronounced. Alright, so that's basically all the prep. Once again, like I said, those steps aren't really a necessity. If you don't want to prime and stuff like that, then that's perfectly fine. Some people do, some people don't. It's up to you really. So for today, I'm going to be using the Rimmel Lasting Finish. I think I got this at Chemist Warehouse on 50% off sales, and it was about like $9 something. So these are quite cheap, even if they're not on sale, but they usually have sales all the time at Chemist Warehouse. Priceline usually has sales. I think they do 2 or 3 times a year. They have like a 40 or 50% off sale. So pick it up then. This one does come with a pump as well, so it's easy to distribute. Okay, so we're going to jump in with this one. I personally like to use a sponge to put my foundation on. You can use a brush if that's what you prefer. In my personal opinion though, the sponge makes more of a flawless finish on the face. And I've used brushes. I used brushes for years, and then I came across the sponge because everyone else was using it, and I was like, I don't want to pay like $30 for a sponge, so I bought them off of eBay, which I will link down below the eBay ones they use. They're only like $1, maybe $2 each, and they're actually quite good. They're actually pretty much the same as like a Real Techniques one, so there's no point in going and spending heaps of money on them if you can get a good one off of eBay for a couple of dollars. So yeah, I'll link that down below. But yeah, so I use a sponge to put my foundation on, only because it's more of a flawless finish. Now I'm going to be looking in the mirror on this side, just so I can get this done. Because my monitor isn't mirrored, it's really hard because, it's the opposite way, so I think I'm going one way, but I'm actually going the other way. And then I just go straight in with my sponge. Always remember to go down your neck as well. Just blend it down. I remember in high school I never used to do that, and I would always just have this line around my jaw. So yeah, remember to do that. Okay, now moving on to concealer. So I do have two concealers that I pulled out. Woo. So I've got the Maybelline Age Rewind, which is my absolute favourite, and then I've also got the Maybelline Fit Me, which is very similar to the NARS concealer, if you've heard anybody talk about that one. This one is more of just like it's got a weird applicator, so you just like pat it on and then blend it out with your sponge or a brush, whichever is best for you. You can't really blend it out with this though, because it just won't blend out, if that makes sense. And then if you've got this one is just like a doe foot applicator, and it's more on the runny side. I don't know, I prefer the formula of this one, but I prefer the applicator of this one, if that makes sense. This one is $20, this one is about $15, so you know, whichever one you're after. I'm actually going to use this one today, I think. Yes. Yep, I'm going to use this one today because it's a bit more on the yellow side. The other one's a bit more cool. I'm not really interested in that right now. Alright, so we're going to use this one. I've also got the shade 15 Fair as well. And then what I will do is I'll just do a little triangle like that. That's pretty much all you need. Is it that? And we'll start off with doing that. So I will just blend that out with my sponge. I go all over my whole eye as well. And then just blend it out a bit. Right, now it's also up to you. You can leave it at that, or you can go in and highlight the areas as well. Another thing you can do is you can either just use a concealer that's the same as your skin, just to get rid of those dark circles, or you can use a shade that's maybe one shade lighter or two shades lighter, just to highlight those areas. So it depends on how advanced you want to get as to what colour concealer you use and where you put it. So if you want to get a little bit more advanced, then just put some concealer here and a stripe down your nose. And I generally put some here too. And that's just going a little bit further, a little bit more advanced, just in case that's what you're up to. And that's pretty much your base done. Then we would powder, but I'm actually going to do eyebrows first before I powder. So I do have a brow tutorial on my channel, which I will link down below. So I'm not going to do a step-by-step of how I do my brows. I'm just going to do like a fast forward through this section. But yeah, now you would just do your brows. I know some people don't like to do brows. If you don't want to do brows, that's, you know, it's up to you. If you do, then there's various different ways to do it. You can use a pencil, just go over the shape of your brows. You can use the pomade like I do, and shape out your brows. Yeah, there's a few different ways. You can even just use a powder. When I say like a brow powder, you don't really need to even use a brow powder. You could use just an eyeshadow. That's the shade of your eyebrows. But yeah, so I'm just gonna speed through this. So brows are done. The best way also, like, don't be scared to make a mistake with your brows. You can always just go back in with some concealer and just a concealer brush. It's just like a flat concealer brush and just neaten those up as well, so don't be worried to make a mistake. Just do it and fix it up later. Okay, so now that brows are done, we're going to go in with some powder. Today I'm going to use the Rimmel Stay Matte pressed powder. I've never used this before, but it's the same as any other powder. I'm just going to use my sponge to do this though. If you have a brush, you can use a brush, that's perfectly fine. But I'm just going to pounce it onto my face with a sponge. So that's the way I do it. I'm going to do the rest of my face, so around the edges, with another method. So that's using a brush. Where's the brush? Alright, so then you can also use a brush, like so, and then just stamp it over your face. You don't want to do any rubbing or circular motions because you're going to move all of the foundation underneath. So just tap it on. For your face, I always recommend using a translucent powder. It's not going to change the colour of your foundation. I mean, you can always use a foundation powder, which does obviously change the colour of your foundation, but that's probably more of an advanced thing. So I would stick to translucent powders, so that it doesn't alter any of the colouring of the foundation. It's not going to change your face, make it look yellow or orange or pink, you know, like it's not going to do any of that stuff. So stick to a translucent powder. This is actually really good. I actually really like this. I'm going to use this more often. So then we're going to move on to bronzer. And this is also my little quick and easy back to basics kind of step as well, is to use your bronzer for your eyeshadow. So we're going to use bronzer for the face and for the eyeshadow. So today I'm using the Very Vegan Matte Bronzer from W7. I got this one from Chemist Warehouse. Not sure if you can get anywhere else except for Chemist Warehouse, but any kind of bronzer is fine. And we'll grab a bronzer brush. I particularly like using this one, which is from Morphe. However, there is sets that you can get from like BH Cosmetics. I don't have one sitting in front of me right now that's perfect for bronzer, but I will be using this for the blush. So BH Cosmetics is obviously an overseas brand. It's from America. You do have to order it online, but they are very, very cheap. So I think this set was like $20, and it's got like 11 brushes in it. So it's quite cheap for the price. But yeah, you can also get BH brush sets from, actually I lied, you can get BH brush sets from Australian beauty websites. So like, I think it's Glam Raider, I think there's another one but I can't really remember. They are a little bit more expensive to buy them from there because obviously they buy them and then resell them, so they add on the like conversion rates and the shipping and stuff like that. So I think a set like that is about $30, maybe $35 on Glam Raider. But with Glam Raider, it's coming from Australia, so you're going to get it within a few days. And you can use Afterpay as well if you have Afterpay. Anyway, that's enough about brushes. I might link Glam Raider and some of the brush sets that they have down below if you guys want to check those out or anything. But yeah, so we're going to go into the bronzer. So we're going to be using the W7 Very Vegan Matte Bronzer. And basically I just get on my brush and then I just tap it just here. So what I like to do is go from the top of my ear, so here, top of my ear, and then I just like to go straight out and to the mouth. Does that make sense? So I just go like that. This all depends on your face shape, but if you just do this, so top of ear to the edge of the mouth, it should be the way that it's supposed to be, hopefully. I've always found that mine is perfect like that, so I mean, don't take that as gospel, but that's how I do it. And then I just tap and blend everything out like so, and down around the temples and stuff. If you've got a small forehead, probably don't do this, because this is meant to make your forehead smaller. So because I have more of a larger forehead, not really a large forehead, but I don't like the size of my forehead. So, I mean, if you've got a large forehead, then I would suggest, if you want to make it look smaller, you don't have to obviously make it look smaller, it's up to you. But that's the point of putting the bronzer around the forehead, is to make your forehead look a bit smaller, because it's more of like the shading. If your forehead is small, it's probably not a good idea if you want to make your forehead look a bit bigger. But yeah, just saying. Once again, the bronzer and doing this step, this isn't a necessity either. This is obviously just if you want to do it. This will just define your cheekbones and give your face a little bit more shape and dimension, rather than just having a flat foundation face, if that makes sense. So, I mean, it's not a necessity, but there's a step in there in case you want to do it as well. Now we're going to use the exact same bronzer, and we're going to use this for the eyeshadow. I'm just going to grab this random brush here. So this is out of the BH Cosmetics set that I have. This is just like a blending brush. Once again, I will link sets down below that are like a complete set, and you would just need the whole, that set to do any kind of makeup look as well. So I'm just going to use this one. This is the only one I'm going to use out for this whole look. Yeah, we're going to use just that. Okay, so what I'll do here is we're going to use this for the eyeshadow. So we're going to use the exact same bronzer. We're just going to use a bit of it on the end of our brush, and we're basically just going to go on our lid, start on the center of the lid, and then just blend it out to the edge and to the inner. So I'll just do that step again on the other side. We're going to fix this up in a minute, so that's not it. So grab on the end of your brush, then we're just going to go into the center of the eye, and then we're just going to blend it to the edge and blend it to the inner corner. And we're using circular motions. So you're just going circular motions and blending it all in. You can also use window wiper motions. And this is just to blend that bit of bronzer all over the eyelid. So then we're going to go in and grab another little bit of the bronzer, and then we're just going to start bringing it up a bit higher. And this is just to give you some dimension between your eyes. Yep. So just bring it up a little bit higher. Then we're also going to grab a little bit like that, and we're just going to put that underneath. This isn't a necessity either. I just personally think that the whole look is complete when you go underneath. You can see the difference in my eyes right now. So this eye looks complete, like I've put some effort into my eyeshadow, whereas this one is just like, you know what I mean? So I mean, once again, it's up to you. That's my personal preference. But yeah, so I'm just going to do that anyway. I'm going to move on to blush. Once again, this is not a necessity. It's up to you whether you want to put blush on. I know some people just do bronzer and that's it. Some people will just do blush and no bronzer. So it's up to you what you actually want to do with these products, or if you want to use them or if you don't. So today I'm going to use the LA Girl Just Blushing. This is the Just Peachy shade. LA Girl can only be purchased online. Places like Glam Radar, Crush Cosmetics, and there's a few other places as well. Discount Beauty Boutique, I think, Makeup Net, stuff like that. They all have the LA Girl products. So if you ever do want to pick them up, then those are the places that I suggest. I'm going to go into this one. I'm just going to tap my brush in, and then basically I just sit it at the top of the bronzer, and I just tap it in again. And that's it. Just tapping it on top of the way the bronzer is. And you can just see that it's given me that a little bit of a peachy shade there. So it's just a bit of a peachy shade. So I just tap along the top of the bronzer, and at the front I'll just kind of smirk a little bit and just tap here. And that's basically how I put on blush. We're going to move on to highlighter, because I'm also going to use the highlighter to finish off the eyes as well. So highlighting is another thing that's not a necessity either. If you don't want to use a highlighter, that's fine. I personally just use a highlighter. So I'm going to use the Model's Own Sculpt and Glow Highlighter Powder. This is in Peach Pearl. I'm using this one today because I'm more on the fair side, even though I kind of don't really look too fair. Anyway, so that's what this looks like. This is the lighter shade of the two. Once again, can be bought from Priceline. I'm not sure if you can buy it at every Priceline, but fingers crossed that there's a Priceline near you that does sell this. This is a really good highlighter, by the way. I love these. And yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to use this for obviously the highlighting areas, and we're also going to use this to finish off the eyes. So we're going to start by using this to finish off the eyes. I'm just going to grab my finger and I'm just going to put this just here. So just like that. Just in the center of the eye. So basically the highlighter has doubled as like a shimmery eyeshadow. And as you can see, I've just put it there. You can use your fingers. If you have a brush, you can use that too. It's not necessary to have a brush for this step. But yeah, so that's it. Then what I do is go in with a sort of like a dome brush. You can probably still do this with something like this, which is a small shader brush out of this BH set. And basically, or you can actually even do it with a lip, with like a lip brush, if you have one of those. And we're basically just going to grab some of the highlighter on the brush, and then what I do is just go in the inner corner. And this is just to brighten up your eye. With a highlighter, you can use a brush like just a regular eyeshadow brush, but that's going to be really, really precise, and you might end up with a line on your face. I personally like to use a larger brush like this, so that the product can just sit nicely, and you can distribute it around nicely like that. See how that's just like blended it out across the face nicely, because it's just large enough to do so, but not, give you a line, but not, blend it out so much that it's non-existent anymore. So you can see that worked really nicely. See how blinding these highlighters are? Another step you can do is a fan brush as well, which you can make it more precise by using it like on the side, or you can go like this to blend it out, if that makes sense. One last option as well is to use your sponge. This is my actual personal preference to put on a highlighter lately, and that's to use your sponge. Just tap it into the product and then tap it onto your face. So really it's up to you how you want to do it. I've already done this side with this brush, so I'm going to do the same to the other side. When I'm doing my eyeliner for my eyes, I generally don't ever use an eyeliner when I'm doing an everyday look. But basically look like this, I won't even use an eyeliner because I just feel like I don't need to. But if you are going to use an eyeliner, I wouldn't use a black one. The only reason I say that is because if you put a black line in here, in your waterline, it's going to make your eyes look smaller. And with a fresh face look like this, where you haven't got much on your eyes, your skin is just whatever, glowing, even if you didn't put any of this on, like your skin's just basic, I preferably wouldn't put black in there. only because that's going to be like the standout piece in your whole makeup look, and it's going to make your eyes look smaller. If you do want to put in an eyeliner, I would suggest putting in a nude eyeliner, because this is going to brighten your eye area. So I'm just going to do that. Make a massive difference, but it does help to brighten up the eye. But yeah, like I said, if you're going to use a black eyeliner, it's just going to make your eyes look smaller, and then that particular part of your face is going to stand out more than anywhere else if you don't have a lot going on. I personally only use black eyeliner if I've got, you know, a smoky look happening, because we want the whole look to be complete. But yeah. Okay, and now we're going to move on to mascara. That's pretty self-explanatory. You just put the mascara on. Today I'm going to use Rimmel London Extreme Black Wonderful mascara, which is this one here. But yeah, you can use whichever mascara you like, whichever one you're more comfortable with, anything like that, and just do mascara like normal. I just poked myself in the eye. A lot of people would just leave it there, and they won't even touch the bottom lashes. I personally feel like the bottom lashes aren't complete without putting on mascara, but that's just me. So if that's something that you don't want to do, don't do it, but I'm going to do it right now because I personally prefer it. So we're just going to go straight over the lashes as well. Let's move on to lips, because that's the last step of this whole makeup look. Okay, so I'm going to use the NYX Lip Lingerie today. Once again, another drugstore product that you can get from Priceline here in Australia. I don't know where else you can get it, but I know you can get it in Priceline. Some Targets have it as well, actually. Some Targets. I'm going to use the shade Ruffle Trim. And this is the final look. It's just very simple, but glowing. Got all the steps in there, so you can pick and choose, you know, which steps you want to do, which ones you don't. This is just a basic, simple, how to do every single step, and yeah. And you can use whatever products you have. You know, if you don't want to go out and buy any of these products or any other products, then just use what you have. This was just to show you basically how to do each and every step simply. You know, so you can decide what you want to do, and yeah, you can pick and choose, do the makeup however you want to do it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helped you if you know, really wanted to learn some other ways to do makeup. Yeah, I hope it was helpful. Please let me know down below if you found this helpful, if there's any other kind of videos that you'd like to see from me, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.